custom with a rich history, this ceremony was originally intended to help me enter into adulthood. As a Jew, I am expected to be more responsible, to take on more religious obligations, and to conduct myself in a more adult way. Today is also the day when I stand publicly to affirm my faith in God, my connection to the Jewish people, and the gift of Torah, which has always been our faith's most treasured possession. I stand here today as part of the wonderful chain of tradition that has been passed to me. As my life's journey continues to unfold, I pray that this day will be counted among the many blessings in my life.
We give thanks for this day and for the years of growth and learning that have preceded. Now, as Carli steps forth to affirm her commitment to the ideals and commandments of our faith, our souls are joyful, our minds are at peace. We pray that this service may long echo in Carli's memory. May it engrave on her heart the understanding that this day initiates a life more firmly dedicated to the story of Torah and the fulfillment of Mitzvah, to deeds of justice and kindness, to faithful membership in the household of the Jewish people.
The Talit has been a symbol of a Jew's acceptance of the mitzvot. And in our generations now, we're fortunate that the women as well can wrap themselves in Talit, which represents the 613 mitzvot. They're in the tzitzit. And just, sorry. I don't want to get water. Just before we witness Carli enwrapping and being enwrapped by her parents in the mitzvot and the talit, I just want to mention that this talit is something very special in the family. And I understand that this belonged to a great-great-grandfather whose name was Harry Kohodas. Came from Belarus he came to America. That this talit has already traveled around the world and around the shoulders of many members of the family. And it's the tradition in this family to be bar bat mitzvah in this talit, which certainly represents what Carli is doing today, which is attaching herself to a chain of tradition that has long history in the Jewish people. So at this time, I'm going to ask Carli and her parents to rise, and Carli will recite the bracha. Amen. Okay. Carli, remember this moment. Hold on to it. And God willing, you will wrap a talit around children and grandchildren as well. Hopefully this talit that represents so much in your family. Mazal tov. This quiet place, apart from our frantic comings and goings, the pressures and pull of a world outside this setting, we pause on this special day, on Carli's special day, to reflect upon the meaning and purpose of our lives as human beings and as Jews. This day, we have come together to share with family and friends the celebration of bat mitzvah. Today, some of us are here with deep faith, and some of us are here perhaps with profound confusion, but we have all entered this sacred space to witness and share in the celebration of Carli's bat mitzvah. It is fitting then, at this special time, to begin again solemnly to recall the ever-living message of Judaism, that our lives are real, that we may live them with significance and purpose. It is appropriate that on this particular day we all reflect upon the significance and purpose of life and join in recognizing that we are, each and every one of us, a reservoir of possibilities, a fountain of potential good. Please join with me. Almighty God, at this special time, at this hour of worship, your children draw close to you. Help us to realize that vision of our highest self, which we carry within us, that which we deserve to be and should become. Keep open our eyes to the nobility of life and the sacred opportunities. Help us, we pray, to build our lives on the abiding foundations of your law, that we may attain peace of mind and steadfastness of purpose. Friends, I'm often asked by non-Jews here, what is a bar and bat mitzvah? And it's really rather unique in Judaism because we give to a person when they attain the age of 12 or 13 all of the adult rights possible in Judaism. We have rabbis and cantors who are specialists. We go to school and we learn a lot more so we can teach others. But we're only teachers, we're not priests. We're only teachers. We do what actually anyone else in the congregation could do. In many of our congregations, everybody gives a devar Torah at some time or another. Everybody teaches the congregation at some time or another. And that's what a bar or bat mitzvah does. It's not the aliyah to the Torah. It's not the reading of the Haftarah. We've made these symbols in the last hundreds of years of becoming a bar or bat mitzvah. But it's leading the congregation, being part of the people of Israel, and taking a leadership role. So Carli will lead us today in prayer. We're all going to rise for the morning blessings. Carli's going to recite the blessings, and we should answer heartily, Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who has given the rooster the ability to distinguish between day and night.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who frees the captive.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who raises the downtrodden.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who stretches the earth over the waters.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who makes firm each person's steps.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who clothes the naked.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who gives rest to the weary.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who made me in the image of God.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who has made me to live free.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who
Amen.
has made me. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who girds Israel with strength.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who crowns Israel with glory.
Amen. And we join together in the next English paragraph. Blessed is the one who spoke, and the world came to be. Blessed is the one. Blessed is the one who continually authors creations. Blessed is the one whose word is deed. Blessed is the one who decrees and fulfills. Blessed is the one who is compassionate towards the world. Blessed is the one who is compassionate towards all creatures. Blessed is the one who rewards the reverent. Blessed is the one who exists for all time, ever enduring. Blessed is the one who redeems and saves. Blessed is God's name. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ויעמד יברח חילותי וימליך מלכותי בחיי חון ויומי חון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, Bagalau Bizman Kali Vimru. Amen. Yesh Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitromal v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei kudusha b'richu v'leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'alma v'imru. Amen. We turn towards the ark as we're going to be led in the call to prayer by Carli.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah le'olam va'ed.
We're all seated. We're all seated. If you turn to page 8, we're going to join in the English paragraph. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, maker of light and creator of darkness, author of peace and creator of all things. In mercy you give light to the earth and all who dwell on it. And in your goodness you continually renew, day by day, the work of creation. How manifold are your works, O God! Wisdom you have made them all. The work of your hands proclaims your praise, and the radiant stars bear witness to your glory. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may swiftly merit its radiance. Praised are you, O God, creator of light.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uberei hosheh, esei shalom uberei et hakol.
Amen. Page 9. Carli's going to lead us responsively. We're doing the indented verses.
Let us imagine a world without color, without regal red or leafy green, a world that bores the eye with gray.
Praise to you, Adonai, for all the colors in the rainbow, for eyes that are made for seeing, and for beauty that is its own excuse for being.
Let us imagine a world without sound, a world where deathly silence covers the earth like a shroud.
Praise to you, Adonai, for words that speak to our minds, for songs that form our spirits, and for all those souls who know how to listen.
Let us imagine a world without order, where no one can predict the length of day or the flow of the tide. Imagine a universe where planets leave their orbits and soar like meteors through the heavens, and where the law of gravity is repealed at random.
Praise to you, Adonai, for the marvelous order of nature, from stars in the sky to particles in the atom.
Let us imagine a world without love, a world in which the human spirit, incapable of caring, is locked in the prison of itself.
Praise to you, Adonai, for the capacity to feel happiness to another's happiness and pain in another's pain. We join together as the universe whispers of a oneness behind all that is. So the love in the heart of humanity calls on people everywhere to unite in pursuit of those ideals that make people human. As we sing of one God, we rejoice in the wonder of the universe and pray for the day when all humanity will be one. We're continuing on page 10, Ahavat Olam.
Ahava Rabba Ahatani, Adonai Eloheinu, Hem La Gedola Itera, Hem Hamalta Aleinu.
We join together in the English. How deeply you have loved us, Adonai, our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. On account of our forebears whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. We're going to be led in the Shema as we all rise on page 10. Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod. B'Sharecha V'chol Me'odecha V'hayu Advarim Ha'er Asher Anochim Mitzavecha Hayom Al Veshinamta Umanecha V'dibartam V'shitecha V'betecha V'letecha B'derech V'shokbecha V'kumecha V'kshartam Le'yom Na'adecha V'nayu L'tafot B'einecha V'ktavtam Al Mizuzot B'techa Kedoshim Elohim Ani Adonai Elohim Asher Zekiyem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohim. And standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and searching together. At the top of the page, Michamocha. Yachad kulam odu v'imlichu v'yamru Adonai Yimloch le'olam va'ed Sur Yisrael kulam be'etzat Yisrael uvdei chinumecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael section, Carli.
There is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know. There is holiness when we are kind to someone who cannot possibly be service to us. There is holiness when we promote family and harmony. There is holiness when we forget what divides us and remember what unites us. There is holiness when we are willing to be laughed at for what we believe in. There is holiness when we love, truly, honestly, and unselfishly. There is holiness when we remember that the lonely and bring cheer into a dark corner. There is holiness when we share our bread, our ideas, and our enthusiasms. There is holiness when we gather to pray to the one who gave us the power to pray.
We rise now for the Amidah, the standing prayer. We'll begin it by joining with Carli for the opening paragraphs, then the Kedusha, and then we're going to continue silently to sing Shalom to the end of the Amidah.
Adonai sifutati ta'ufi agite gilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Elohei Gadol, Hagibor, HaNorah,
Mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayim meitim berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofei cholim, umatir asuvim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha bal kiburot, umido melech, melech remit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'nemanata l'chayot metim. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hametim. We're on page 15. Nakdishcha v'naritzecha kenoam siach sod sarfei kodesh hamshalshim lecha kedusha kakatuv al yad neviecha v'karzel ze ve'amar kadosh 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 Adonai tzivot melech haaretz kevod le'umatam Mishabkim v'yomerim Baruch Kevod Adonai b'mekomo U'divrei kadshecha katuv lemor Yimloch Adonai v'olam Elohai Tzion Ledor Vador Hallelujah. Bottom paragraph, Ledor Vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor Vador. Ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid god lecha.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid god lecha. Ulenetzach nitzachim, kedushatecha nakdish, kedushatecha nakdish. V'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid god lecha. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid god lecha. Ki el melech gadol v'kadosh ata v'kadosh ata. Ki el melech gadol gadol v'kadosh v'kadosh ata. Baruch atah Adonai. Amen. We're continuing silent now with the prayers that are on the pages, but also the very special prayers that are in our minds and hearts at this special hour.
Modim anachnu she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ucha na'et le'hodo.
We're going to continue with the English now at the bottom of page 20. Carli's doing the first paragraph and then we're going to join together.
Loving God, how much we need the gift of friendship and warmth of understanding. How greatly we need to be needed and cherished. We pray, therefore, that our souls may know the joy of love given and received. Open our eyes to the beauty within all who walks on the earth. When we feel lonely and forsaken, let the faith that you are with us give us strength, and the solace of friendship give us courage.
Keep us from imagined hurts, from seeing only foes where friends are to be found, and give us insight into our own hearts, that we may uproot our weaknesses. Help us to be patient when we are misunderstood, open to the thoughts of others and quick to forgive hurts. As a friend to others, may we neither judge them too harshly nor blindly follow them into paths that are not ours. And as we walk through life together, let us and our dear ones go with that integrity that leads us to peace, that love which brings harmony and joy, that regard whose fruit is enduring friendship. We thank you for the miracles, for the redemption, for the mighty deeds and saving acts brought about by you, and for the wars which you waged for our ancestors in the days of old, at this season. Amen. We continue now with Sim Shalom on page 7. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom Tova Ubracha. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom. Hem v'chesed rachamim aleinu, v'yalko Yisrael alecha, v'oheinu avinu, v'manu kerecha, v'or manecha. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom Tova Ubracha. Sim Shalom Tova Ubracha. Keep your panecha l'tatamanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Torah Chaim v'ahavat chesed, Uracha v'rachamim b'chaim v'shalom. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom Tova Ubracha. Sim Shalom Tova Ubracha. V'tov mi'necha v'tbaret amecha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom Tova Ubracha. Sim Shalom Tova Ubracha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Hamarech et Amo Yisrael Bashalom.
Amen. We join together. It's not written here. Oh, Hoseh Shalom Mikroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Le'yavol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Amen. Oh, Hoseh Shalom Mikroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Amen. We're all seated. We've now reached the part of the service where we're going to take the Torah from the Ark, and we're going to begin that responsively on page 22. In each couplet, Carli's going to lead the first line. We'll respond with the second or second and third.
Let us affirm our faith in Torah.
Our people's legacy of learning and faith.
There are no words more challenging than "you shall be holy."
No command more basic than you shall love.
There is no insight so fundamental as "in the beginning, God."
No word so life-enhancing as you shall rest.
No cry is more compelling than "let my people go."
No consolation more comforting than I am with you in your distress.
There is no vision more helpful than "they shall beat their swords into plowshares."
And no summons more demanding than justice shall you pursue.
These words have outlived monuments and empires.
We want them to live through us until the end of time.
We owe it to our ancestors to keep Torah alive.
They struggled and suffered to preserve our way of life. They knew this to be their most precious gift to us.
We owe it to our children to keep Torah alive.
For why should they be spiritual paupers when the riches of this heritage can be theirs.
We owe it to the world to keep Torah alive.
This is a message which the world needs to hear.
We owe it to God to continue as a people.
To share God's dream, to bear witness to God's sovereignty, and to live the words of Torah. We're going to continue now with the Torah service on page 23. Okay? Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, ein b'maasecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'kol olam. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai Imloch, Elohim va'ed, Adonai oz le'olam yitei, Adonai yivorech et amo shalom, avad rachamim, heitiv b'tzonka et Zion. Tifnei cholmot Yerushalayim, Tifnei cholmot Yerushalayim. Ki becha levad matachnu, melech elam leisam, Adonai. All rise as we open the ark. Vayhi b'nisoah ha'avon vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai v'yafutzu oivecha v'yanusu mesanecha mipanecha ki mitzion tetzeh Torah ki mitzion tetzeh Torah u'dibar Adonai b'Yerushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. I'm going to ask Carli's grandparents and parents to join me and Carli in front of the group. We keep the Torah scroll in the ark, but it's passed from the hearts and minds of family to family, generation to generation. And in this case, we are fortunate to have grandparents with us. So I'll ask you to take hold of the Torah as I pass it now to Carli's parents, and they pass it to Carli. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Elohim. Adonai Hagidula, Hagivula, seat. So, this is a very special time in the celebration because not only is Carli going to take an Aliyah, she's going to read the Torah portion for us today. It's from the Parashat Vahalotah, and it's a very interesting selection. And if you listen very closely, in the third Aliyah we have the shortest prayer in Torah. Aaron and Miriam have done some gossiping behind the back of their brother Moses. Never happens in our family. Okay? But unfortunately it happened in theirs. Okay? And God got angry. And Miriam was stricken with leprosy or some skin problem. We don't know what it was. Okay? But she didn't look good. Okay? And God says to Moses, you get your brother and your sister and you bring them to the tabernacle. And Moses forgives them. Very important. The whole Torah talks about God forgiving. And then we see that Moses forgives. Because the Torah always wants to teach us the human side. Forgiveness is a good thing. Maybe better for the person forgiving than for the people who get the forgiveness. But it's something that should happen. Okay? And Moses is afraid that God is going to continue this punishment. And he says to God, Rafa na la. That's the whole prayer. Please heal her. Rafa, heal. Na. Please, Rafa na la. Her. Please heal her. Okay? It'll come out in the normal trump of the Torah. But I hear Moses' voice with a great deal of pain in it. Rafa na la. Please heal her. No one should be punished on our behalf. It's a very difficult thing to deal with in a world that often makes us say, boy, I wish I could punish them. So it's a very important lesson, and Carli's going to do the reading. Now we're going to honor a whole bunch of people with Aliyot that are, of course, very special to Carli. And the first Aliyah is going to be Saba and Lili. Ya'amod Harav Shmuel Menachem ben Yerucham Tzvi Beperel V'leah Chana Batze Velois Rishon. The brachot are actually here also. The brachot are here also. So you should take the corner of your thumb. I'm sorry, you have the pointer. You use the pointer and show them where you're going to be here.
Baruch Adonai Haborach.
Baruch Adonai Haborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Haborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein ha'torah.
Amen.
ותדבר מרים ואהרון ומשה עודו האישה הכושית Shit asher laka, ki shafu shit laka. Mayameru harak akmashe diber Adonai. Alo bamanu diber vaishma Adonai. Lo haish Moshe anam mikol hadam. Asher al panei Adamah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Now we're calling up Mom and Dad. Ta'amdu. Tzvia Sarah, Bat Shmuel Menachem, V'Leachana, V'Yehuda ben Avraham V'Yelana, HaKohen. Baruch Adonai Habarak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher hacharvanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Adonai, Itam. Moshe ve'Aaron ve'Miriam te'u shoshehem Elohel moed, vayetze'u shalostam. Vayered Adonai ba'amud anan, vayamod petach ha'ohel. Vayikra Aaron u'Miriam vayetze'u Shunayhem. Vayomer Shimona Devarai im yeh navi ahem. Adonai v'amar et elav et vada v'halam. Adaber bo lohen avdi Moshe v'hoveiti ne'eman hu. Pe'el pe' adaber bo. Umar et below v'hitu. Not Adonai yabi umlatu alo yoritem. L'daber ba'avdi v'Moshe.
Second verse.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Tamod Habachura Habat Mitzvah Rivcha Chadasha Bat Yehuda HaKohen V'Tzvia Sarah Chazaka Tihyeh.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Habarak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher harpanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayikar af Adonai bam v'elah, v'he'anan sor me'al ha'ohel. Bnei Miriam et Torah shalek vayich ben Aharon. El Miriam b'nei et Torah vayamud vayomer Aharon. Moshe bi Adoni Ana Tashet Alenu Hatat Asher no Anu V'Asher Hatanu Ana Tahi Kamet Asher b'tzei tomer and imo, vayet ahel hasi v'saro, vayitzak Moshe el Adonai lemor el na Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata b'toheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Mishabeirach Avotenu, Abraham, Yitzhak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. Hu yivarech et habachura habat mitzvah, Rivka Chadasha, Bat Yehuda HaKohen v'Tzviya Sarah Ba'avur she'alta hayom L'chvod HaMakom L'chvod HaTorah L'tein Shevach V'hodaya L'shem HaGadol V'HaKadosh Al Kol HaTova Asher Asa Elohim Miyom Hivalda. May He who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless this bat mitzvah Carli, who has come here with reverence for God and for the Torah, to thank God for all the good which has been hers since the day of her birth. May the Holy One, praised be He, grant her long life. May she be at one with the Lord her God, studying His teachings and walking in God's paths. May she prosper in all her worthy endeavors and find favor before God and before all humankind. May her parents rear her to womanhood, imbued with the love of Torah and the performance of good deeds. And may they be privileged to bring her to the wedding canopy. Not so quickly. And let us all say,
Amen.
Sinman Tov.
Mazel tov, mazel tov, Sinman tov, Sinman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, Sinman tov, Sinman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, Sinman tov.
Among us, among those whom we know, and among those whom we may not even know. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, and Rachel, and Leah, bless all those who are ill. May the Holy Blessed One be filled with mercy for them, to restore them to wholeness, heal them, strengthen them, grant them long life, and quickly bestow upon them a complete healing from heaven, as well as those who are ill among the people of Israel. May it be a healing of spirit and of body. May this happen soon and quickly. And we all say, Amen. If you turn to page 25, we're going to honor Marco with a prayer for the country.
We pray for all who hold positions of leadership and responsibility in our national life. Let your blessing rest upon them and make them responsive to your will, so that our nation may be to the world an example of justice and compassion. Deepen our love for our country and our desire to serve it. Strengthen our power of self-sacrifice for our nation's welfare. Teach us to uphold its good name by our own right conduct. Cause us to see clearly that the well-being of our nation is in the hands of all of its citizens. Imbue us with zeal for the cause of liberty in our own land and in all lands, and help us always to keep our homes safe from affliction, strife, and war. Amen.
Amen. A prayer for the state of Israel, Elisa.
Adonai our God, Bless the state of Israel with promise and redemption. Shield it with your love. Spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands and hearts of all the defenders of Israel. And let us say, Amen.
We hope that your joys will continue to multiply and be abundant in the days and years ahead. And I offer this special prayer for you on this Simcha. Yishaberach Avotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Bachel, Leah, Hu Yivarech et B'nei Hazug Hazeh, Bizman Simchatam Hazeh. In the fullness of this day's joy in this historic synagogue in Prague, we turn to you in thanksgiving, O God, the source of eternal blessings. We give thanks for the strength that has preserved and sustained Nancy and Paul and permitted them to reach this sacred time. They look back in grateful and reverent reminiscence upon those 50 years that have passed since the day of their wedding at Sinai Temple in Chicago. Many and varied have been the experiences that they have enjoyed and shared since that hour. Many have been mingled occasions of victory and defeat, of fulfillment and disappointment. They happily recall the joys which sweetened their lives, but they also remember the storms which shook them to their very roots. We are deeply grateful for the devotion that they have showered on each other over these past 5 decades. We thank you for their privilege of celebrating this joyous day in the presence of our treasured family on the occasion of Carli's bat mitzvah. In triumphs and trials alike, O God, you have been with Paul and Nancy, so may you continue to be with them in the years that follow. May there also be many more years ahead, years in which they will understand the meaning of their journey with serene and grateful hearts. O God, bestow your choicest blessings upon them as they journey on. May their achievements and memories inspire them. May their visions and their hopes light up their path. Yisibchem Elohim, Sarah Abraham, Asher Banu et Beit Israel. O God, on the 50th anniversary of Nancy and Paul, grant them abundant blessings like you did with Abraham and Sarah, the first Jews of our world who built up the household of Israel. Amen.
Simen Tov,
Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulechol Yisrael.
Torah, Yamod, Yehuda, Ben Avraham V'Ilana Kohen, Hava, and Aliza. Austin. Okay, Austin. I don't have your Hebrew name. Abraham. Just Abraham?
Abraham Pinchas.
Abraham Pinchas ben Yehuda Kohen Vitzvi Asara Lila. We rise. Torah Asher Moshe Livnei Bnei Yisrael Avi Adonai down. Okay. Tighten the door over, Stephanie. Okay. Ron, you should-
Okay.
We're going to call up now Jordy, Lily, and Sabrina to open and close the ark. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, you got it?
Perfect. Thank you. We'll open the ark. Elon, open there, please. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Ki niskav shemo levado. Tov natati lachem, toati al tazovu, Eitz Chaim hi l'chazima, v'toreha me'ushar, deracheha, darchei noam, v'chol netivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashura. Kadesh, Kadesh Yameinu, Kadesh Yameinu,
Today is the long-awaited day that I become a bat mitzvah. I cannot actually believe that we are here in this beautiful city of Prague to mark this milestone in my life. I'm standing here because of so many special people and openly celebrating my bat mitzvah in the Czech Republic in a place where multiples of other Jewish children were once denied the same incredible opportunity. Prior to World War II, this country had a thriving Jewish community of over 400,000. But when the Nazi regime took power, the Jews in what is now the Czech Republic were safe no more. Many were sent to death camps, while more than 150,000 Jews were sent only 30 miles from here to Terezin, a concentration camp and ghetto. It is thought that there were more than 15,000 children sent to nearby Terezin, and after the war, there were only about 150 Jewish children left. That is thousands of Jewish kids who have never had the chance to become a bat mitzvah due to intense anti-Semitism, racism, and pure evil. It is for those children and in their memory that I stand here before God and all of you today. In preparing for my bat mitzvah, I learned much about my Jewish heritage, my abilities, the service, the Hebrew language, and the music. I've also finally further understood more about the meaning and importance of the Bible. I was often confused as to whether the Bible was supposed to be strictly believed as the whole truth, whether it was a combination of history and fable, or whether it was meant to be interpreted as lessons in a roadmap. After learning and studying my Torah portion, I now feel that all of the above hold some truth. Some of the Bible may be the whole truth. Some of it follows the history of our people. Some of it is fable and mixed in. And for sure, the Bible stories provide lessons for life, even for living in today's world, and maybe especially for living in today's world. My Torah portion is from Numbers 12. The portion and its life lessons involve the issues of racism, the price to be paid for stirring the pot, and the dangers of marinating in the emotion of jealousy. Miriam and Aaron had continually spoken against Moses for the woman he loved. This woman was a Cushite, a black woman from Ethiopia, and not a type of person who Miriam and Aaron were familiar with. Miriam told Aaron about Moses' relationship with the Cushite woman, and when she did, she stirred the pot. She instigated drama and troubling concerns for Moses. God knew of Miriam and Aaron's jealousy of Moses, and God knew why they had stirred the pot. God spoke directly to Moses. He was special to God. So God explained that God believed that Moses was a prophet, and that Miriam and Aaron were not to speak out against the prophet. And then God cursed Miriam with the horrid disease of leprosy as a punishment for being the instigator of drama. The leprosy, an illness that affects skin, seemed to be a fitting punishment for God, since Miriam was judging Moses' interest in darker-skinned female. The leprosy infliction would serve as a constant reminder of her transgressions against God and Moses. At first, I questioned why only Miriam was punished, but I believe that Aaron was spared, since he was not the first to speak out. Interestingly, even though Miriam had been highly critical of Moses, Moses still prayed to God and asked God to immediately heal Miriam of her newly acquired illness. I know that the Torah was written to help guide people through life and teach them life lessons. When reflecting on this, I tried to relate this lesson into my own life. Even as a young girl, I am highly interested in politics. I follow our government and the international politics of the world stage very closely. The world is troubled again, as it has been in many times in human history. Our current government and its leader, President Trump, represents a Miriam-type character today. He is an instigator, and at times he has expressed racist views. His views resound around the world and allow people to feel permission to speak out and act out in hate. This is also no different than the racism and hate that Hitler spurred in the late 1930s here in Europe. It would seem that more of the human race ought to learn from Miriam's hard-learned lesson in the face of God in order to prevent history from continuing to repeat itself over and over. It's my wish that when children are born bat mitzvah one day, the hate over the color of one's skin, the choice of their sexual orientation, one's gender, religious beliefs, and one's ethnicity of origin will be only something they read in the Bible or within the pages of history, and not something that they'll have to live with like I do today, and like those children of terrorism lived with decades ago. I learned a whole lot from becoming a bat mitzvah, and it would not have been possible without so many people. I first want to thank all my family for making this day occur. My awesome big cousin Jordy, and my younger cousins Sabrina and Charlie, Aunt Nancy, Uncle Paul, Aunt Lisa, and Uncle Marco, Lily and Saba. Thank you for taking the time and effort out of your busy summer's schedule supplied by the Czech Republic, and to be here to help support me on this journey. My grandparents Lily and Saba. Your generosity and love for your kids and for your grandkids is endless. And I want to say that my Grandma Gigi and Grandpa Bill are here with me in my heart too. I know my grandfather would be so happy. My appreciation for all that you have done for me and are always doing for me has no bounds. It is a dream that I keep thinking that I will wake up from, only to discover that it is not real. From working with me on my Torah portion to helping me decide the details of the service, and for treating us to this entire adventure, this day would never have occurred without you, especially Lily and Sapa. I also feel such gratitude for my loving and patient mentor, Rabbi Roth. She has not only taught me what I know today, but she has helped me feel more connected to my Jewish identity as a whole. I learned deeper reading skills that will carry me through life and allow me to feel more a part of my Jewish community. And importantly, I also made a great friend. Thank you, Rabbi Roth, for everything you have helped me accomplish in such a short time. I only wish that you were here with me now, but no doubt that you are not far from my heart. I really believe that it was Rabbi Roth who gave me the strength to reach my goals. Rabbi Hoffberg, I'm also very grateful for you today. Thank you for being here by my side for my bar mitzvah, for opening your congregation to us, for leading us in prayer, and for being so warm to my family. You will hold a special place in our family's history from today on. Here are Lily and Austin. Thank you for putting up with me when I was frustrated at times, and thank you for always being my best buddies. I'm so lucky to have each of you to share a lifetime of memories with. We got this, and to my dad and mom, thank you for getting me to this point, and for always supporting me in every way. This trip is more memorable and definitely more meaningful than any bar mitzvah party could have been in Rockville, Maryland. The experience is magical, and I will treasure it forever. I love you.
Oh, beautiful.
Carli working cats, you simply amaze us. From the time you were born, your well-aware, beautiful, and piercing blue eyes seemed to take the whole world in so early, and your quiet curiosity made it feel as though you were so wise beyond your years. It was not long before we discovered that your soul is old, kind, and truly learned. When you were only 2, I recall being in a very great hurry to get us out of the house. I wanted to throw your clothes on and shove your tiny little toes into your shoes that had the time-sucking shoelace to them. But before I could get to you, you stuck your hand out as if to give me a high five and explain, "Nope." My serene tiny tot, you had pleasantly surprised me as you continued to do so today. You had stopped me in my furious scramble to leave, and then you sat down on the floor in the middle of your room with your chicken legs stretched out before you and your arms crossed atop your chest. You said with your sweet and yet already authoritative and leading voice, "I do it myself," before your peers were able to talk, let alone dress themselves. You could even begin to tie your own shoes. At first, you were frustrated with your inability to tie the loops, but I watched in amazing astonishment as you absolutely refused to give up until the job was done. That day, you taught me to slow down, appreciate the time you need to grow, and to practice patience. I have never forgotten those moments, as you know, and your dad and I have continued to enjoy the thrilling ride with you as you've applied that same resolve and tenacity to everything you do. From learning to read early, to teaching yourself to write, to auditioning for your first musical, being turned down, and auditioning for another one the very next day, only to land yourself a great role, to doing the research to find yourself your own talent agent at age 10, to running for class president and winning only after being a part of the student body for 1 year, to your writing and delivering an impressive speech to hundreds of parents and students at your elementary graduation, to dedicating yourself to your acting, dance, and music, to making straight A's in all highly accelerated courses, to volunteering 100 hours, to taking care of children, and to above all, being a considerate and thoughtful teenager. And when we thought you could impress us no more, you accomplished the almost seemingly impossible feat of preparing for and executing the ability to lead us in prayer on this special day of your bat mitzvah. In only 4.5 months, Carli, you put in hours of Hebrew practice with your new beloved mentor and friend, Rabbi Betsy, and even more practice hours on your own. With your solid and unwavering flair, you learned Hebrew, the service, your Torah portion, and the meaning behind it all. The accomplishments you achieved today go far beyond just today. Being able to understand, read, and write the language of your people who actually deeply share the same character resolve as you were inherently born with, further connect you with the peace-seeking Jewish community that is so important to our world.
Becoming a Jewish adult means that you have accepted and are accepted into the intricate woven fabric of people who share your innate steadfastness to persevere century after century. You're a part of a human spirit whose goals are to promote harmony among all, repair the world, give back, and to appreciate all lives and precious ones. Amongst all of your wonderful qualities, you also chose to rise above the fray. Unlike Miriam and Aaron as described in your portion, you're not an instigator of drama, and you act more like the adult that you are now than many of the leaders of our world. Carli, you embody all the immense traits that any Jewish parents could ever wish and hope for to see in their child. We're immensely proud of you and the young woman you've become. We thank you for bringing us all together in this historic city. We're so fortunate to celebrate you and your bat mitzvah today in a place that not long ago we would have been impossible due to the hatred of the other. We often pinch ourselves and just count our blessings and that we have been granted the gift of a daughter Who has repeatedly expressed the love of all others, who has revealed the need to find the greater similarities rather than know the differences. As you embark on the next years of your life's journey as a young Jewish adult, we have no doubt that you will have internalized the skills and valuable lessons from this remarkable worldly experience. Carry them on and weave them back into the fabric of a global community that needs the leadership of more sage and caring souls like you. We thank you for being you every day. Carli, we love you. We thank you for your curiosity, your resolve, your lessons of an old soul, and for your love. We're so grateful. We're so grateful that so many people have helped you mark this day. No matter how wise or bright one is, it takes a team to reach new heights. Thank you to you, Mom and Dad, for your profound generosity in making this trip and Carli's bar mitzvah possible. We still cannot believe we're all here at Prague. At the end, it's Uncle Paul, Jordy, Elisa, Margot, Sabrina, Charlie, Lily, Austin, and Kira. Where's Kara? Thank you for being here with us, so far away from home. We also wish to thank Rabbi Roth for all your tireless time and effort in preparing Carli for this day. Words connect to their gratitude for our dear friend. We're also so thankful to you, Rabbi Hofberg, for opening your congregation and your heart to Carli and our family. Carli, keep doing what you're doing. Keep being you. We love you.
Hey, Carli, you stay here because your grandparents have something to say as well.
Carli, you are amazing. You gave one of the most mature and profound lessons from the Torah that I've heard from a bar bat mitzvah in the many years that I've been a rabbi. That's over 50 years. Also, you are a person with very definite goals, and that's always been something that's impressed me. You told me that you intend to be a prosecuting attorney and someday be in the President's Cabinet of the United States. There's also another possibility, Carli, after hearing you today. We have three rabbis here, Rabbi Estes, Rabbi Hofberg, who's been so gracious to us in opening his synagogue to us and leading the service so beautifully. And I, as the third rabbi, we constitute what's called a bet din, and we could also ordain you as a rabbi. So that's a possibility. This Torah portion was one of many that we could have chosen. The traditional Torah portion for today is the first Aliyah in Mahalokha, but we thought that this chapter, which is the final chapter of that Torah portion, would be more meaningful for two reasons. Number one, the ethical lessons that you drew from it so beautifully. And number two, this was Aunt Elisa's Torah portion when she was bat mitzvah in 1987. So it has, besides wearing the talit of your great-great-grandfather, Harry Cahotis, you also are reading the same portion that your Aunt Elisa read so many years ago. There are two lessons I think you could derive from this. One is the bad-mouthing that went on. Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses for two things: for marrying a black woman and for saying that they were mad that God didn't choose them to speak through as much as to Moses. Now, God did speak through them, but in a certain different way. God spoke to Moses directly. The Torah says mouth to mouth or face to face. But they got their messages in a lower form of communication. So they were jealous. But the important thing to remember here is that they did not feel validated. When people don't feel validated, when they don't feel important, they feel less than, then they start gossiping. That's where the gossip comes from. A low self-esteem that they're feeling. Maya Angelou, the great poet, made a very important statement. She said, people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. One lesson. Second lesson is the idea of gossip. Now, if you study the Torah portion carefully, you'll note that the first word of your portion is Vatadaber, Miriam, Aharon, and Moshe. Miriam and Aaron both spoke against Moses. But if you read the Hebrew carefully, Vatadaber is in the singular feminine. singular feminine, so it's really Miriam who did the speaking, but Aaron was a silent accomplice. He didn't protest. When you hear gossip, it's important for you to speak out. It's important for you to say that this is not something I will tolerate. And you know, at your age, you're going to hear a lot of gossip. People are going to talk about each other. Note that they talked behind Moses' back. They didn't speak to him directly. They didn't criticize him for marrying a black woman directly. They talked behind his back. But the real issue, as I say, was jealousy. So remember what Elie Wiesel said. He's a Holocaust survivor. We just came from Poland. We're now in the Czech Republic. We're also in Lithuania, where there were so many people who stood by and did nothing. They were bystanders. Don't be a bystander for gossip. Elie Wiesel once said that more hurtful to the victims than the oppression of the oppressors was the silence of the bystanders. More hurtful to the victims was the silence of the bystanders than the oppression of the oppressors. So that's my lesson to you, these two lessons on your bar mitzvah. And I say, go up and prosper and continue to be a woman of nobility, a woman of strength, and a woman of conviction. I love you. Bless her all together.
Carli, very beautiful and special words, all from very special people. And it's a privilege for me to be able to see your grandfather after having met him so many years ago when God was arranging your bat mitzvah. I'm sure he had in mind that it would be a little easier for me if there was a colleague there. It would be a little easier for me if it was a family that had obviously a great deal of regard for their Jewishness. And that comes from your parents, from your grandparents. You stand on the shoulders of generations that came before you and are going to become the shoulders upon which generations of the future will exist. We always think of a chain. How does a chain break? It has a weak link. That breaks the chain. No matter how strong the chain is, one weak link, maybe we can repair it, but it becomes the beginning of the need to repair it, or the whole chain falls apart. You don't want to be a weak link. You want to be a strongest link. You know that from your family, because they've been examples of strong links and shown you how to do that. You've had many messages thrown at you today. I want to just pick up on one thing that your grandfather said. Besides everything that you're hearing, I would like to say that you should remember how you feel. As much as we want to be with you on the 50th anniversary of your bat mitzvah, not all of us are going to be, because that's the way life is. Don't forget this moment. These people have schlepped all over Europe with you for one purpose, to give you a picture of who Carli is. And you said it better than anybody else could have said it. This is a lot better than a party. These are memories for a lifetime. Thank God medicine is getting wonderful and wonderful. When you're at your great, great grandchildren's bar or bat mitzvah, on the moon or in Prague, I don't know where it'll be. And you tell them you were here with your grandparents and your parents and your whole family, there is nothing like that. I don't know what imitates that in the world. But that's what makes something very special as a moment in your life. Feel the love, because it's not leaving. 50 years from now, when you celebrate the 50th anniversary of your bat mitzvah, that love will be there. It's not going anywhere. The love, the warmth, the caring that you have in this family and their love of Jewish that they're passing on to you is something that will be even incredible in your worst moments. They'll be different. Life has stumbling blocks. Ask the people married 50 years. Ask your grandparents. It isn't always easy. When you get to those points that aren't easy, you remember this room. You remember these people. And you feel the love and the caring and the Jewish spirit that everyone is sharing here today. And you let that strengthen you and make you the most fantastic, wonderful thing you can become. You're way on your way to being Super Carli, another one of our superheroes. I don't know if you'll be president of the United States. I think that's going to be a job for the people who are dog catchers these days eventually. It's been lowered in status. But you are going to be something incredible. And even more incredible because of everything that you're feeling today. So hold on to this day. Hold on to this trip. How many other, you ask your friends, how many of them have spent, I'm not talking about FaceTime on the phone. How many of them have got to spend this amount of time with their grandparents, with aunts, uncles, parents, brother and sister? We're all very busy these days. I think it's a miracle that you could get everybody to agree to some dates to travel together. Okay? I know how hard it is for me just to get a permission to use the room here for 3 or 4 hours to be able to use this beautiful synagogue. So you've done an incredible thing. Let it be that most incredible thing that warms your heart and mind throughout your life. That's my prayer for you. And now I'm going to ask your parents and grandparents to join me in front of the ark as we're going to call particularly at this moment upon God to bless you as you become a full part of the Jewish people and really an incredible part of humanity. We'll all rise. And opening the ark are solemn reading. You guys come here. Carli, Mom and Dad over here. Carli, stand clean and
I am a Jew because the faith of Israel demands of me no denial of the mind. I am a Jew because the faith of Israel requires of me all the devotion of my heart. I am a Jew because in every place where suffering weeps, the Jew weeps. I am a Jew because at every time when despair cries out, the Jew hopes. I am a Jew because the world of Israel is the oldest and the newest. I am a Jew because the promise of Israel is the universal promise. I am a Jew because, for Israel, the world is not completed, men and women are complete.
O God, you have blessed us with the precious and sacred gift of our daughter. You have entrusted her to our care, to nurture, instruct, guide, and love forever. From the depths of our hearts and the innermost of our souls, we pray that we have been faithful to your trust and have done what is pleasing in your sight. Accept her, O God, on this day of her consecration to our Torah and our people. We shall spare no effort to continue her Jewish education and develop her Jewish loyalty to the end that she may grow to be committed to Torah and Israel. With hearts full of gratitude and humility, please accept this, our prayer.
Avinu Shesh Bashamayim, great God in heaven, we ask you at this moment to turn your face fully towards this wonderful family who have brought their daughter Carli here to this synagogue, where once the plan was there would never be another Jew to celebrate her Bat Mitzvah, her becoming a part of the Jewish people. Almighty God, give her the strength and the insight to always hold on to this special moment in her life and to feel the warm blessings of family and friends who are with us today near and far and sharing in this special day. We ask that as her parents and grandparents place their hands on Carli in blessing, that through them your face will shine towards her always, and she will be able to find strength in you in all that she endeavors. Please stand in the center. And folks, place your hands on Carli's turn. The ancient blessing of our people, recited in the time of the temple, and recited in all of our synagogues and temples throughout the world today. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and watch over you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chineka. May God be with you always and shine warmth and happiness throughout your life. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lach shalom. May God give you the greatest of all gifts, wholeness, completeness, and peace within yourself, and we pray it for the whole world we live in. We say, Amen. All blessings from God are sealed with kisses. So we're going to close the ark and ask everyone to remain standing at our places. And if you take the prayer book again, we are on page 26 for the closing prayers of the service. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei tefillah li'oser v'eshit, shelo asarnu k'gayei ha'atzon, v'lo samanu k'mishpavat ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu ka'em, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu kolim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim v'yosei haaretz u'moshel yekaro b'shamayim mima'al u'shlinatu zo v'govei Elohim hu Eloheinu Elov emet malkeinu efezulato kakatu b'torato v'yadata yom v'shivota elevavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim v'shamayim imal v'al haaretz mitachaleinu. Top of page 27.
And then all that has divided us will merge. And then compassion will be wedded to power. And then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind. And then both men and women will be gentle. And then both women and men will be strong. And no person will be subject to another person's foe. And then all will be rich and free and buried.
And we join together. And then the greatest song will be great to the needs of men. And then all will share equally in the earth's abundance. And then all will care for the sick, the weak, and the old. And then all will nourish the young. And then all will cherish life's creatures. and then all will live in harmony with each other and the earth, and then everywhere will be called Eden once again. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Our minds, as they do every time we gather in prayer, turn to those who have come before us, those who could not survive to be part of our lives at this point. We think of those people who have been martyred, who did not have the opportunity to have a bar mitzvah, who share in this day as well from their very special places in God's heaven. We now call to mind those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom friends and neighbors have lost, and the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked. We call to mind those who stood before us and enabled us to stand here this day. Lovingly, too, we remember those in the community who died recently, and we also invoke God's gift of memory on those whose yard sites occur at this time of the year. And we remember those of this family on whose shoulders Carli stands on this glorious morning. As we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death, we are thankful for this opportunity to remember the past while working towards a greater future. The words of the Kaddish: Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayecho beit Yisrael, ba'galal v'zman karim v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah barach li'olam u'le'olam. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpamar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitalel yitalal shmei kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushtakata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Amen. We're all seated. Just once again, some words of thanks on my part for the privilege of being able to share Carli and do wonderful simcha today. We call it simcha because it's a joy for the entire Jewish people when we grow with the newest member of our adult community, Carli. And I'm grateful to your parents and your family for giving me the privilege to share with you today and be part of this. And I'm tempted to call on Rabbi Stahl for announcements. He has many more years of experience than me.